Madam President, dear honourable members of the European Parliament, I would like to begin with a big thank you and deepest gratitude to this House for your resolute commitment and continued support to Ukraine. Your strong voice has been a source of strength in Kiev. They need it. It is a beacon of hope that Ukraine's sacrifices are not in vain. And let me in particular thank you, dear Mr. Gala, the rapporteur on Ukraine, for your work in steering these House positions forward with clarity, conviction and optimism. Today, as we consider the Commission's enlargement report for 23 and 24, and as we look ahead to soon 2025 report, already in preparation, we must remind ourselves what is truly at stake. Ukraine's path to accession is a matter of survival, of sovereignty and of a long-term security, and this not only for Ukraine but for Europe as a whole. Ukraine has chosen this path freely and legitimately. It is what Ukrainians are fighting for, day after day, night after night, under continuous attacks. Their choice is clear: a future anchored in peace, stability and prosperity, a future within the EU family. But it is not an easy road. While heavy fighting continues, Russian brutal attacks on civilian targets has been intensified. As we know, on Sunday, Russia struck the cabinet of ministers building in Kiev for the first time a direct attack on a seat of Ukraine's government. And of course, we know that this attack was not an accident. It was a message. Russia doesn't want peace. Russia fears Ukraine's European aspirations and dismisses democracy. That is why our response must be resolute and united. Despite this brutal war, Ukraine has advanced steadily on reforms. The Commission's assessment shows progress across key areas such as energy, customs and foreign and security policy. That is a clear demonstration of determination, but accession is not only about ticking boxes. It is about transforming a state and society to guarantee the rule of law, the fight against corruption, the independence of institutions and a functioning democracy, meaning following the Copenhagen criteria. This requires the whole of Ukraine, government, civil society, stakeholders and particularly the Rada, the Parliament of Ukraine. We saw in July, and Mr. Gala, you have mentioned it, how fragile progress can be. Attempts to undermine the independence of the anti-corruption bodies NABO and SAPO were deeply troubling. We were crystal clear such moves are unacceptable. These institutions are the very foundations of the Ukraine that Ukrainians want to build: transparent, accountable, European. On 31st of July, Ukraine corrected course. Key safeguards were restored. Other measures, including the appointment of the head of the Economic Security Bureau, we waited for months for this, were unblocked. And these are positive steps. And that calls for the vigilance of every actor for the sake of Ukraine's European future. In this context, the Commission assesses Ukraine has met conditions to open Cluster 1, while we encourage them to continue work on implementation of roadmaps and especially on action plan for minorities. At this crucial moment, a strong sign of support is more than symbolic. It is strategic and it is deserved. And I would love to stress that it is not true what some people claim, that we are stuck in the accession process. From the technical point of view, we are working really a lot, and in a few weeks we will be in the position to be able to open all the clusters. But the decision has to be made in the Council. So I call the Council to decide on the opening of the Cluster 1 without further delays, on the only legitimate ground, and this is the merits of Ukraine. Much has already been achieved together, and together we must continue. Honourable members, Ukraine's EU accession is the most powerful guarantee of its security. Each reform consolidated, each cluster opened, each step forward is a step that locks Ukraine more firmly into our common European home. It is also a signal to Moscow. Ukraine's European destiny is irreversible. Let us not underestimate what this means. Ukrainians are defending not only their territory but also freedom and democracy in Europe. The least we can do is match their courage with our political determination. We will continue to support Ukraine in advancing reforms, particularly in the rule of law. And we will continue to ensure that the accession process remains merit-based, credible and predictable. And I count on this House to remain fully engaged to encourage all political forces in Ukraine to work constructively and to remind all Member States that the time for hesitation has passed. Ukraine's future is in Europe. Its people have chosen this path with courage, with sacrifice and with hope. Now it is for us, all of us, to be up to these circumstances, to help make this choice irreversible and to ensure that one day soon Ukraine takes its rightful place also in this House, in the European Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.